Do we have audio now?
It's all lit up, I think so.
All right,
Oh, yeah, that's what episode.
perfect. Then let's roll with the roll call and
Counselor Eater is absent. Counselor Scarga,
here.
Counselor Donahue, Counselor Ott,
Here.
Counselor Hopper,
Here.
Counselor Black,
Here.
Student Counselor Gigon. Here. Mayor Fab.
Here. Let's roll right into our presentation / announcement, I guess would be the proper.
It could be either way, it could be all the above.
Okay,
Council, it is my pleasure, my honor, as your chief of police and your city manager, to bring to the council tonight the occasion to swear in and formally promote George Ronald Lopez from the position of officer to sergeant. George, as you may know, and you see the sergeant stripes on his arm, George has been in an acting capacity position basically since Charlie attended the FBI National Academy. Within this limited leadership position, George has done an extremely large amount of growth, both personally and professionally, and has risen to the level where it is time for us to take the AIC acting in capacity off of the front of that position and make him a full-time sergeant. So, George, you step forward. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, George Ronald Lopez,
I, George Ronald Lopez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United
of the
States
United States,
and the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of
of
Oregon,
the State of Oregon,
and the laws therefore,
and the laws therefore,
and rules and regulations
and regulations
of the Mount Angel Police
of
Department.
the Mount Angel Police Department,
And I will
and I will
faithfully,
faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of police sergeant
of police sergeant
during my continuance therein,
during my continuance therein,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
So George, you have to come over here and sign twice. And it is also custom that we have a badge fitting. So I have George's brand new sergeant's badge. Right here. And who's gonna pay them for you tonight? Okay, this. Give us some notes. Yeah. Thank you, Liz. Okay. Congratulations. Anything you want to say to council?
I'd just like to thank all you guys for this opportunity of letting me serve you guys. I'd like to thank Chief for mentoring me throughout my career and, various places here in Sherwood. I'd like to thank my family for putting up with me being gone here and there and different shifts and holidays and whatnot. And I guess I'd like to thank God for keeping me safe day in and day out as I do this. Thank you all, and I enjoy serving this whole community very much.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George. Thank you, council.
We have any appearance of any interested citizens?
I cannot tell from these notes, if anybody online wants to speak, they can unmute themselves at this time. Take that as a no.
Okay, I believe the one guest we have online is for a particular agenda item we will get to later. Quarterly department reports. Go around and see, did anybody have anything of interest or questions in the department reports? All right, hearing none, then let's go to the accounts payable report. Counselor Storga.
No question.
Counselor Black. Counselor Hooper. Counselor Ott. Counselor Donahue. All right, moving on to the Q2 finance report. Any questions on that? Counselor Donahue.
Nope.
Counselor Black.
No.
Okay. I had one. It's on packet page 14. Tara, I was just curious, the parks revenue is like 525%. Was there something special or just people using our parks more?
I'll have to come back to you on that.
Okay,
Things ringing a bell.
okay. All right, then let's move on to the consent agenda. Any corrections to last month's meeting minutes? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as written.
I have a motion from Counselor Storga, seconded by Counselor Hofer. We have a roll call, please.
Counselor Black.
Aye.
Counselor Eder. Counselor Hooper.
Aye.
Counselor Storga.
Aye.
Counselor Donahue.
Aye.
Counselor Ott.
Aye.
Mayor Powell.
Aye. With that, we are going to move on to item 9A. The initial liquor license approval requested for Angel Mountain Christmas. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is a original liquor license because it is a new location for the applicant. Staff is recommending approval to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. The initial license approval for Angel Mountain Christmas, Stokely Enterprises LLC, Scott Stokely, who is the applicant. This is for Angel Mountain Christmas. They'll be opening up at 165 East Charles Street. And the trade name will be Angel Mountain Christmas. Police Department has reviewed the application and there were no adverse findings.
Thank you. Any questions?
I just like a little education on what do we look for? What are the regulations or things that we look for to say we approve it?
Sure. Repeated liquor violence or, sorry, it's been a long time. Liquor violations by the applicant at other locations. Criminal career history, I'm looking at that of the applicant. Looking at their driving status, everything that I can look into to see if granting this person a liquor license would be an adverse thing for our community. And I did not find any of those. So I'm recommending the council, for this.
I assume he has other liquor licenses with the other businesses in the town? The city? Does he have other?
He does, yes, yeah, for news. And, yeah, his previous location, Angel Mountain Christmas. In fact, the one, at the shop up here, as well as, the previous location right next to Lou's. So this is kind of a continuing business thing for Scott and Christie.
And this is just a matter of procedure that it comes through a city before it goes to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission.
Yes, for this particular type of license, yes, that's correct. Otherwise, I usually sign temporary service licenses, which are done by existing licensees.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay. None from me, so I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the liquor license application for Angel Mountain Christmas, Stokely Enterprises LLC, Scott Stokely applicant.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Counselor Hofer, seconded by Counselor Black. Can we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Hawk,
I'll abstain since I sometimes work for them.
Counselor Black,
Aye.
Counselor Eager is absent. Counselor Hofer,
Aye.
Counselor Astorga,
Right.
Counselor Donahue.
Aye.
Wow.
Aye.
Motion does pass.
All right, thank you. Next item. Item 9B, sidewalk cafe amendment. Tara,
I'm not gonna be able to write topics.
you want me to send it to Mark?
That's okay, I can talk. Yes, we received a certificate of liability from an applicant for a sidewalk cafe renewal. I sent it in to our insurance agent, which we do on a regular basis. And it brought up the conversation that a record of agent wanted higher statutes or higher limitations, but our statute has low ones since it was enacted in 2012. So we just need to renew our ordinance and by updating the insurance limits. So we have updated the appropriate section. Everything else in that ordinance remains the same.
Questions?
I assume it changes the amount to $1 million.
Yep. And there was some other, I think, 2012 version, they had it more segmented into like bodily injury versus whatever, and this is just per occurrence, so. Bring it up to the standards.
Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions? So my only question is how does this work with the current applicant? Will all people who currently are licensed to have a sidewalk cafe be required to increase their coverage?
I'm probably, but I don't think it'll be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they signed annually or every so many years?
So the cafe permit, they apply every year, and if there's no substantial changes, all they have to do is submit a new certificate of liability or a certificate of insurance. That's all they do each year.
So the current ordinance may lay in effect until renewal,
It would take effect,
or are we going, I know we probably don't have many of these. I'm
Yeah,
just,
Kept to,
okay, so we're gonna send notice to the two of them and say,
yeah.
ordinance has changed, can you please update?
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
just wanted to make sure that like
Yeah, we'll follow up.
the whole cart and horse thing. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Those are my only questions. All right, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to conduct the first reading of ordinance 783.
Second,
I have a motion by Counselor Hofer, seconded by Counselor Ott. Roll call, please.
Counselor Donohue,
Aye.
Counselor Ott,
aye.
Counselor Bullock,
Aye.
Counselor Eater, absent. Counselor Hopper,
Aye.
Counselor Scarga,
Aye.
Mayor Fountain.
Aye.
Mayor, since this was the first reading, does the title of the ordinance, I believe, needs to be read?
Let the record show that Counselor Hofer's motion was regarding ordinance 783, an ordinance amending Mount Angel Municipal Code Section 115.02G relating to the city's operating regulations for sidewalk cafes.
Thank you.
Everybody still good with their vote? Okay.
We'll have the second reading next month.
Yes, because there's no emergency.
Right.
Ordinance.
And with that, we will move on to our city manager's report.
Cool. Well, we'll keep it pretty short. Just give you kind of a synopsis on a few things that I'm working on. I'm currently working on the RFP for our Parks Master Plan. I recall that we got a grant for $50,000 from the state. These plans have been a recent topic of discussion with the state city managers across in my list there. So the really cool thing is we did better on our grant than many other communities. So I'm very proud of that. And one other city manager informed me that they thought that what we got in the grant should take care of a brand new Parks Master Plan, if that's what we're actually doing. So I look forward to getting that RFP out and moving forward with that. I'm reviewing revisions on our city's emergency operations plan that Marion County has been taking care of rewriting for us. That is when I wrote it, it was a 400 and some odd page document, so it's kind of very dry and hard to get through, but I'm getting through it. The police department has received a grant that I wrote from CIS, our insurance company, to begin a drone program. And that includes 3 days of training. It includes 2 days of training as a pilot, and then we'll include 3 days of hands-on training.
By this what program?
Drone.
Drone.
Yep. And I received notice today from Gustavo Guerrero from Senator Merkley's office that the CIP grant that I put in for last year is open again this year. So I will be moving ahead to get that filled out for Senator Merkley and Senator Wyden's office. The due date on that is Wednesday, February 25th. So I will get that all done and we'll be in contention once again. And what I wrote the grant for last year was for our new water reservoir. At the time, our water master plan indicated it would be $3.2 million. So I will ask for reservoir at about $3.2 million. And that's what I have.
Thank you. Any questions?
Alan, have you guys done any more research into that possible water by the deli out there? No, it looks like it's still, water's still coming up.
Yeah, we brought in OAW and they did it. Like an ultrasound on it, like a leak test or the heating. So I was thinking about bringing it back in again, but. I'd really hate, I mean, if you can't pinpoint the leak or if you can't hear that there is a leak, I'd hate to tear into the road because it is a state highway. And there's a lot more extra paving this to possibly not fund it.
Has our water usage gone up or down? Our total numbers?
Maybe in spring.
The only other thing I had was somebody asked, was when the hell we're gonna fix those potholes in the middle of the highway, and I said, I don't know, ask your state rep or ODOT.
Good answer.
It ain't ours.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's move on to our Youth Advisory Council report.
This month, or I guess in January, we got, a new FFA advisor, Jason Marshall. And now we're in the second semester, halfway through this, which means that brought MAPS testing, which I think dropped our attendance. But we also had FBLA regionals in middle of January. And all 20 that went qualified for state. We all won in at least one event. So FBLA state will be the 9th to the 11th. And then tomorrow night at JFK, we have basketball senior night, if anybody wants to. And I love to our seniors.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions? I will follow up that if you walk into the high school office, they will not give you honey. You have to find an FFA kid. So if you are looking for delicious local honey, you do have to find an FFA kid first. I went the day after the meeting. I was like, I hear there's honey up here. And they were like, find an FFA kid. I said, okay. But it's good. It's local. Right here from the Civic Honeybee. So thank you. Counselor committee reports. Counselor Donahue. Counselor
I got nothing.
Pot. Counselor Hofer. Counselor Black. Counselor Storga. All right, my turn. Three things. One, hopefully everybody got a chance to go to Volksfest. I was down there Saturday. Well attended, lots of Volkswagens in town. Lots of people meandering about town, not just for the festival, but popping into some local businesses. So that was good to see. Some good music Saturday night and some local and some non-local food. So that was nice. For those of you who've seen the blue sheet, I mentioned it last month, but I am now, I don't know, Chief Operating Officer of the Project Blumenstadt, which is the basket program. I guess I'm going to call myself that for now. The blue sheet has a quick blurb about it, and it refers to how it's getting slightly revamped to be a community-wide initiative, hence the new name. And just to let everybody know, they're between boxes, baskets, and pots, which I guess are just baskets that you don't hang. I placed the order last month for 91 of them, so it should look very similar to what we've expected in the past. There'll be some slight relocation of some of the hooks on some of the poles because they had kind of grown into clusters. And I have a to and from list put together for our city manager to share with his public works staff when they have time. So the other thing is we talked about the enterprise zone, and everybody kind of like, hey, what's going on with the enterprise zone, right? Everybody saw Sedcor was here prior to the meeting for about 5 minutes and took off. So a meeting was held 3 weeks ago, somewhere in there. And the attendees were the mayors of both communities, the city managers of both communities were invited. Chief, unfortunately, was not available, but Colby was. And we also had Jason, the community development director, I believe is his title in Silverton, and some folks from Sedcor and the COG. And I went with our list of questions. And I will say that getting to a solid and straight answer was difficult. Sometimes it was often because there's multiple ways that we could choose to operate a enterprise zone. What I walked away with on the first part is, while our whole community does fit in an enterprise zone, obviously only certain areas can be utilized because it only applies to certain industry. So while the whole community fits, there's a small portion of our land that we have allocated that we could actually utilize. To date, we have had 0 people ever utilize our enterprise zone program. Silverton has had 3, we have had 0. As far as the management of the enterprise zone, as you know, it used to be managed by Silverton with their staff time, and they are now having SEDCOR manage it. And there are 3 ways we can manage our enterprise zone. 4 ways that, and this is part of the reason I think we're having a difficult time coming to a firm answer in certain situations. There are 3 ways to have SEDCOR manage it and 1 way to manage it ourselves. The manage it ourselves is when an application comes in, we use our own staff to review the applications and make the determination. And then there are 3 ways to utilize SEDCOR. 1 is essentially a subscription base where for a fee every single month, no matter how many applications do or do not come in, we would pay SEDCOR a flat fee. The thought was that we would share that fee with Silverton as joint users of this enterprise zone. The other way to do it is that SEDCOR charges staff time when we get an application. And we, previous to that application, have set forth an application fee to offset our costs. And the last way is SEDCOR reviews the application, bills us for their time, and the city eats that time and does not pass that time on to the developer. So that's the first part. Second part is, I'll just tell you guys, I sat there and I said, before this ever comes before my council again, I said, somebody needs to explain to me my why. Why are we here? How did we get here, right? That's where we found out we had 0 applicants. They had 3, it expired. It's been expired for a while. And I stated in the meeting, I said, my understanding is I can have a free enterprise zone with Silverton and I can have a free enterprise zone without Silverton. And they said, no. If you do not partner with Silverton and you choose to have an enterprise zone, you will be paying SEDCOR and the COGS time to do all of the legwork to stand it up on its own. So, okay, that's a big why that we hadn't heard in our meeting.
That's if we go solo.
If we were to go solo. The other option is to say we want to go solo and wait until there's potentially bandwidth and funding within the COG to set up another enterprise zone just for us in the same way they're setting this one. But that is not any guarantees, those kinds of things. And so my concern in that particular meeting was splitting a fee with another community that is likely taking more applications than we are. And again, our promise, or my promise, that I did not want to see Mount Angel money spent in developing Silverton. We have enough development to do on our own. But that simply wasn't going to work from a subscription standpoint. There was also some concern around what the actual deliverables look like and what was actually going to be done as an advantage for our community in the months that we had no applications to review. The other thing is when we sign up for one of these, it is a 10-year enterprise zone. So I've received an email, as is City Manager Daniel, from Silverton, that the city manager of Silverton, that clearly states they really, really want us to vote on this and to pass this and to be partners with them on this, because again, our why would be that we would have an enterprise zone stood up at no cost to our community. We would not pay any monthly fees. We would only pay in the event that we had an application, which is kind of what we were shooting for. Their why is there is a large chunk of their industrial area that does not qualify without Mount Angel.
Mm.
There's really not much of Silverton that fits into an enterprise zone without Mount Angel. And it seems that this train got out of the station, maybe without everybody on board. And it was requested of us that we vote on this tonight. And I've had the conversation with our city manager that simply, he confirmed to me what I believe, which is we don't have what we need to vote on this. We don't have something in front of us that shows exactly what this looks like, exactly what the services are, exactly what the costs are if anybody wanted to do this. Any idea of what our application? Okay, y'all get the point.
Mhm.
And so for that, I also have nothing from the city of Silverton other than an email that says, if you do this with us, it won't cost you any money. And that's not enough to vote on right now. So pending further information provided to us from COG, SEDCOR, and Silverton, that is why we have not had them back. That is why we are not voting on anything. And that is all the stuff that's floating around in the background, so that all counselors are now aware of everything that I'm aware of based on my conversations outside of this meeting. Are there any questions?
Thank you for the information.
I was like, thank you for all of that
Okay.
wrap up.
Do you feel there's anything that I missed in my wrap up?
I'll just cap it by saying, in my communication with the city manager from Silverton, once we receive such documentation, some type of either agreement, contract, anything like that, that we can actually review, send to our attorney and take a look at, make sure that it meets all of our standards, then at that time, I will be happy to bring it back to council for your consideration at that time.
I appreciate it. And based on what I have found, that is part of why it went from the front or the forefront of our thoughts to somewhat of a back burner. Because with 0 applicants and not a ton of land that will actually be utilized, it doesn't come to a priority at this point for me.
And I would like, I trust that Corey is, the city manager in Silverton is going to be accurate in his communication. However, I would like it in writing that it's not going to cost our community anything for the next 10 years.
Was there some kind of written agreement for the first 10-year?
I would have to look and find it, but I would imagine that there is. When this died, the city manager from Silverton, who was new at the time, contacted me and said, hey, we're putting this package together. We'll get you everything you need, the agreements and everything else, so that you can then take it to your council and we'll make this happen. Because at that time, we just needed to renew it. And I was like, okay, give me what we need and I'll take it to my council.
Maybe a core question, because you may not know the answer. What's your sense? Do you think we're gonna get anything from them?
Yeah, I do, because they really want to make this happen for their community. Like Mayor Faust said, there's a piece of Silverton that is not eligible to be an enterprise zone unless they use Mount Angel as part of their socioeconomic group area.
So what's in the back of my mind is we have very little land area for that to happen, for business to come in, is what I'm hearing. So what's in the back of my mind is, can this city benefit even if everything was put in?
That's a great question.
Population coming over this way, I don't know, that's my question. would be able to benefit even if we went to like, even if everything's developed over itself.
That's a great question. And one for Sedcor and Windmill Valley, COG.
Well, I'm with Mayor Fowl. I mean, I'm not against partnering with Silverton, but I don't think we should be splitting any bill. You know, should be broken down somehow, but I can't really see any negatives of joining with them. I mean, yeah, I mean, we have houses that new employees can buy and are cheaper than Silverton. Benefit that way.
We do probably have, you've been paying attention to your weekly updates that I've been trying to be on. In the next little while, we're probably gonna have well over 100 residential units coming into this, into the city. Because the latest 48 house plan was presented last week. That will be behind Preston. That is definitely.
Do you have a timeline for that, when it might start, should ask it a year, 2 years?
I think that they'll start, and Colby and I chatted about this, when they submitted the plan. They'll start, probably cutting the roads and moving dirt around this spring.
Does that include updating that stormwater line
Yeah, actually it does. Yeah, they figured all that stuff out.
without it flooding?
Yep.
So the one last question I had before we move away from the enterprise zone and I had during the meeting is, this kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I believe as a council, we may have the power to create economic incentive. And I need Chief to hear the question, so I know it promise. I believe we have the ability to write our own economic incentives in some way, shape, or form, and we may not have to take the boilerplate one that was presented to us. And so that's something that I plan to investigate slightly more prior to us discussing it again.
So you're looking at an IGA?
My understanding is if we were to do this, there would need to be an IGA with the city of Silverton to utilize the services that they are getting from the COG and from Sedcor, and they should have an agreement in place with Sedcor and the COG, and there's, yes. I just know that for what I do for a living, I didn't have enough paperwork in front of me to even consider it, so. But I do think that we have opportunities to potentially offer more tailored economic incentives to bring business into town that we can discuss at a future date.
And I should also mention that it's not just for new businesses coming to town, but it's also for the expansion of businesses that are already in town.
So hopefully that's got everybody up to date.
Tara does have one last thing.
Yeah, I was hoping to bring it up during the accounts payable review. But as you guys have all read over the last couple weekly updates, that the city has implemented some new technology due to paying vendors through direct deposit, also known as ACH or EFT. With new processes or with new implementation of technology that kind of makes us look at our processes and realize that things are potentially different and how can we work with it. So right now with checks, we get 2 signers that come in, and I know that some counselors enjoy that time and don't mind doing it, but both sides I think at times find it inconvenience to stop what they're doing during their day, come in and sign our checks. Well, with the ACH, in addition to the inconvenience it may cause, the other benefits is that vendors don't lose a check, they get paid faster, and then we have a lot lower costs for postage, envelopes, and checks. So I reached out to our auditor, just verifying that everything was okay, because counselors don't have to sign anything for us to pay vendors through ACH. And she said that you viewing the accounts payable report every month is a complete, perfect example of an internal control. So I just wanted to put that out there and see if you guys had any questions.
With that, we have a decent amount of cyber liability coverage with all the ACH insurance wise.
Well, we have a couple things through our bank. We're specifically, we paid into a program where, to protect against fraud, so that if anything gets fraudulently, done, is on them. Because we've signed up for their program. We do through CIS have $50,000 coverage. We can't go any higher yet, but I'm working on a grant to get multi-factor authentication implemented so that we can apply for a higher tier next time.
How much will that cut our check, right, signing down to? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, so far each check run, we're doing maybe 5 at the most ACH right now. But we are about to start sending out letters and forms to vendors when they get paid, asking for that information so that we can drastically increase that amount.
All right, that's 5 less checks we gotta sign.
How many checks do I have, Natalia? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes a check batch, especially at the beginning of a fiscal year, can be 60 to 80
Oh, wow.
checks,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I had. I just wanted to make sure that we answered any questions.
Any questions on that? All right, hearing none. We are adjourned.